Men, have you ever truly wondered why women choose intimacy? Most men think they know, but the real reasons are far deeper, more fascinating, and often completely unexpected. If you're stuck believing it's just about looks or charm, you're missing a profound understanding that could revolutionize your relationships. Stay with me, because today, we at Stoic Love are unlocking the 4 hidden psychological triggers behind women's desire, and this knowledge will change everything you thought you knew. Have you ever truly, deeply wondered why women really choose to have sex with a man? Most men think they know the answer. They might point to physical attraction, a captivating smile, or perhaps a certain level of success. But the truth, gentlemen, is far deeper, infinitely more fascinating, and sometimes completely unexpected. If you believe it's just about surface-level attributes like looks, money, or a charming pickup line, you're missing the profound, intricate, bigger picture. And that significant gap in your understanding might be the very reason your relationships, past and present, often feel confusing, frustrating, or ultimately unfulfilling. This lack of insight can lead to a cycle of misunderstanding and unmet expectations. Hi, I'm Amelia, and welcome back to Stoic Love. On this channel, our mission is to decode hidden human behaviors, expose the often overlooked psychology of attraction, and equip you with the practical tools to build genuine power, crystal clear clarity, and unshakable confidence in all your relationships. Today, I'm going to meticulously break down the 4 major, often hidden, psychological reasons women engage in intimacy. These aren't just shallow guesses or common cliches you hear at a bar. These insights come straight out of groundbreaking peer-reviewed research, specifically a seminal study published under the prestigious National Institute of Health. The researchers, Cindy M. Meston, Lisa Dawn Hamilton, and Christopher Hart, didn't just scratch the surface. They meticulously uncovered profound patterns that explain why women of different ages and life stages are motivated to be physically intimate. And here's precisely why this matters so profoundly for you. When you truly understand what genuinely motivates women in this deeply personal aspect of life, you immediately stop wasting precious energy on the wrong things, on superficial gestures or misdirected efforts. Instead, you learn how to cultivate deeper, more authentic emotional bonds. You learn how to ignite and sustain more passionate connections. And yes, as a natural byproduct, you will experience better, more fulfilling intimacy. Most importantly, you gain an invaluable sense of control, clarity, and competence over one of the most confusing and often mismanaged areas of male-female relationships. So, if you're serious about transforming your understanding, consider subscribing to Stoic Love for more life-changing insights. But here's the shocker, the revelation that truly makes you rethink everything. Women are not always motivated by the exact same things that men are. Sure, physical pleasure is undeniably a part of it, for both genders. However, sometimes the real, underlying driver for a woman has absolutely nothing to do with conventional lust or immediate physical desire at all. In fact, some women, under certain circumstances, intentionally use intimacy as a powerful tool to achieve completely different goals. These are goals that most men, trapped in their own perspectives, never even consider. So, let's delve deep into this. Because once you grasp these 4 fundamental motivators, I promise you, you will see dating, relationships, and female psychology in a whole new, illuminated light. So what exactly are these 4 powerful motivators? Why do women say yes to intimacy? And why does it sometimes feel like such an impenetrable mystery to men? Let's break them down one by one with illustrative examples and real-world scenarios. And I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to gain perspectives and insights you've never thought about before. 1. Physical motivation, the tangible allure. Yes, we'll certainly start with the most obvious and easily recognizable one: physical motivation. Women, just like men, are fundamentally motivated to have sex because, quite simply, it feels good. There's undeniable pleasure. There's profound gratification. And yes, there's often a compelling element of curiosity, a desire to explore and experience. Think back to the first time you tried something exhilarating and completely new. Perhaps it was the adrenaline rush of skydiving, the stomach-flipping thrill of riding a towering roller coaster, or even the tantalizing curiosity of tasting a uniquely exotic food you'd never encountered before. That surge of adrenaline, that potent curiosity. Women often experience these very same sensations and motivations when it comes to intimacy. Sometimes, it's simply the electrifying thrill of novelty, the excitement of an unknown experience waiting to unfold. And of course, raw, undeniable attraction plays a significant, often central, role. When a woman finds a man physically irresistible, whether it's the genuine warmth of his smile, the powerful symmetry of his body, or just the confident, grounded way he carries himself with quiet assurance, that alone can ignite a powerful surge of physical motivation. It's an undeniable biological pull. For instance, consider a woman who meets a man at a party. He might not be the most conventionally handsome, but his intense gaze, his deep, resonant voice, and the way he confidently holds her attention during their conversation sparks a primal physical desire within her. The chemistry is undeniable, and that alone can be a powerful driver for intimacy, purely for the pleasure and thrill of the physical connection. But here's the deeper, more nuanced layer that most men, regrettably, tend to miss. Physical motivation isn't static. It also shifts dynamically with a woman's biology. Hormones, menstrual cycles, and natural fluctuations in libido create powerful, undulating waves of desire. This is precisely why you may notice that at certain times of the month, your partner is far more physically affectionate, more openly desiring intimacy than at other times. It's not random. It's the elegant, powerful dance of nature and biology at work within her body. Understanding this can help you better attune to her needs and desires. 2. Emotional motivation, the heart's deepest craving. Now, here's where the discussion gets truly interesting and arguably more profound. Many men, operating from their own inherent psychological wiring, often assume that intimacy is primarily and solely about physical attraction and release. But for women, time and time again, emotional motivation is often an even more powerful, compelling, and foundational driver. This is a critical distinction to grasp. Women fundamentally crave emotional closeness. They yearn for that profound feeling of being loved, being deeply valued, and being intimately connected to their partner, not just physically, but at a soul level. For a vast number of women, intimacy isn't just about the physical act of sex. It's about feeling secure, cherished, and unequivocally loved within the relationship. Think of it this way, and this analogy might offer a powerful insight. If a man often perceives physical intimacy as the blazing fire itself, immediate, intense, and consuming, then for many women, emotional intimacy is the vital oxygen that sustains that fire. Without that steady supply of emotional connection, emotional security, and emotional understanding, the fire of physical passion will simply not burn for very long. It will flicker and eventually die out. That's why a woman may consciously choose intimacy, not solely for the immediate physical pleasure, but specifically to strengthen and reaffirm her emotional bond with you. She yearns to feel close, to bridge any perceived emotional distance. She desires reassurance that you genuinely care for her, beyond the physical. She wants to experience not just your body, but your heart, your vulnerability, your deepest self. Consider a couple who's been together for years. After a particularly stressful week, the woman might initiate intimacy, not because she's overtly horny in the moment, but because she's craving reassurance. She needs to feel that despite the chaos of life, their bond is still strong, that he still sees and values her. The physical act becomes a powerful reaffirmation of their emotional connection. And here's the kicker, the crucial insight. When a woman feels profoundly emotionally safe, truly desired, and deeply respected, her physical motivation doesn't just appear, it absolutely skyrockets. It's an exponential increase. That's precisely why, in many long-term relationships, when the emotional intimacy begins to fade, when couples stop truly connecting on a deeper level, the bedroom often goes quiet too. The oxygen supply has dwindled, and the fire follows suit. Cultivating this emotional connection is vital, and Stoic love is here to help you master it. 3. Relational motivation. Intimacy as a bridge. Now let's delve into something that most men rarely, if ever, consciously think about. Relational motivation. This is where intimacy transcends being merely an act of love or pleasure. It transforms into a powerful tool within the relationship itself. It becomes a way of strengthening the overall bond, a method of resolving lingering conflict, or even a strategic means of re-establishing harmony. Have you ever noticed how, after a heated argument or a period of tension, some couples instinctively find their way back to each other in the bedroom, making up through intimacy? That, my friends, is relational motivation powerfully at work. For some women, intimacy serves as a profound way to restore peace, to mend emotional rifts, to maintain the vital stability of the relationship, and to reassure both partners that despite disagreements, the connection remains strong. It's a non-verbal affirmation of commitment. And this is precisely where the concept of love languages comes into play with immense significance. Some women primarily feel loved, cherished, and secure most deeply through physical touch. For these women, intimacy isn't just about pleasure. It's how they fundamentally measure closeness, gauge trust, and affirm commitment within the relationship. If her primary love language is physical touch, she will naturally crave intimacy far more often and find deeper meaning in it than a woman whose primary love language is, say, quality time, or words of affirmation, or acts of service. This is why alignment in love languages and motivations truly matters. If your primary love language is physical touch, but hers is, for example, quality time spent together, you might frequently feel rejected, unloved, or even taken for granted when she doesn't initiate or respond to physical intimacy as often as you desire. That inherent gap between your need for physical intimacy and her possibly different needs can lead to profound disappointment, simmering frustration, and, in unfortunate cases, even relationship breakdowns. However, if you understand the power of relational motivation and her unique love language, you can consciously begin to bridge that gap. You can initiate open, honest, and vulnerable conversations about your needs and hers. You can actively find creative ways to meet each other in the middle, respecting and validating both perspectives. And in doing so, you don't just solve a problem. You build a stronger, more resilient, and deeply understanding relationship that is equipped to navigate future challenges. If you're struggling to understand your partner's love language, check out our resources at stoiclove.com. 4. Social and goal-oriented motivation, beyond pure desire. And now, we arrive at the fourth, and perhaps most surprising, motivator: social and goal-oriented motivation. This category often pushes beyond the conventional boundaries of pleasure, emotional closeness, or even relationship stability. It delves into the influence of outside forces, societal pressure, personal goals, and even the fundamental human need for validation. Yes, it's a crucial truth that women, just like men, often feel immense social pressure. Pressure to satisfy a partner, to meet unspoken expectations, to be perceived as desirable, attractive, or good enough in the eyes of others or themselves. Sometimes, intimacy is motivated, at least in part, by the subconscious or conscious need to fulfill someone else's desires or expectations, rather than purely her own. But it can also be profoundly goal-driven. Think about significant life goals, such as family planning, the desire to have children, or even the more immediate goal of boosting one's self-esteem and confidence. For instance, a woman might find herself feeling more attractive, more wanted, and even more powerful after an intimate night, not necessarily because of the physical act itself, but because of the affirmation it provides. That external validation, that deeply reassuring sense of, I am desired, I am wanted, can be an incredibly powerful, albeit often unspoken, motivator. And sometimes this motivation is about actively avoiding negatives. For example, a woman might engage in intimacy to prevent a potential conflict or argument. She might do it to stop a partner from feeling neglected or emotionally distant. She might do it to consciously keep the relationship on track and stable, especially during busy or stressful periods. This is the one category that truly forces you to think outside the box, to challenge preconceived notions, because it powerfully reveals that intimacy isn't always, or even primarily, about immediate physical desire. Sometimes it's about subtle strategy. Sometimes it's about achieving long-term or short-term goals. And sometimes it's simply about navigating and responding to complex social expectations and pressures. Understanding these nuanced motivators can give you incredible insight. So now you know: physical, emotional, relational, and social goal-oriented motivations. These are the 4 pillars that often drive women's intimate choices. But here's the critical twist. Another layer of complexity. These motivations are not static. They are fluid, they evolve, they transform over time. A woman's primary reasons for intimacy at 21 are very often profoundly different from her primary reasons at 41. And if you don't grasp how age and life stages change this delicate game, you will completely, inevitably misread the signals, leading to confusion and frustration. Here's where things get even more fascinating and crucial for your understanding. A woman's specific reasons for intimacy are not fixed, set in stone. They naturally shift and evolve throughout her life. Her age, her current life stage. Is she single, dating, married, a new mother, an empty nester? Her level of self-confidence and self-awareness, and even her ever-changing biology. All of these intricate factors profoundly shape how she experiences, perceives, and ultimately seeks intimacy. Young women, approximately 18 to 30 years old. For younger women, intimacy is often characterized by a strong element of exploration and discovery. Between the ages of 18 and 30, curiosity typically runs incredibly high. They are actively discovering themselves, becoming more attuned to their own bodies, and beginning to understand the immense emotional and physical power of attraction. Think about this scenario. A 22-year-old woman, fresh out of college, might be intensely motivated by the thrill of something new and exciting, the exhilarating rush of attraction, or even the subtle, pervasive influence of friends saying, "Just go for it, live a little." This is often the stage of experimentation, where they are chasing novelty, immediate pleasure, and seeking external validation as they form their identity. That's why social pressure can often play a significantly bigger role at this age. Whether it's the prevalent culture of college campuses, the influence of dating apps, or simply the inherent desire to fit in with their peer group. Younger women frequently feel a subtle but powerful push to meet these societal or social expectations. However, there's a crucial double edge here. While some younger women are indeed primarily motivated by the pure joy of pleasure and the excitement of exploration, others, perhaps less secure, are motivated by more external, often less healthy factors. This could include a desperate need to feel desirable, to live up to what society or media tells them intimacy should look like, or to secure a partner. The bottom line: at this age, the drivers are often a mix of curiosity, immediate pleasure, novelty, and the pervasive influence of social dynamics. Middle-aged women, approximately 31 to 45 years old. Now, let's gracefully move into the 30s and early 40s. This is where intimacy typically becomes far more layered, more nuanced, and deeply complex. For many women in this life stage, while physical attraction is absolutely still present and important, it is no longer the sole or even primary driver. Emotional connection, the stability and security of the relationship, and a deeper sense of personal fulfillment begin to emerge as significantly stronger, more compelling motivators. Picture this: a 35-year-old mother of two, juggling a demanding career, household responsibilities, and the relentless demands of parenthood. She may not be chasing novelty and fleeting thrills in the same way a 22-year-old might. Instead, she might deeply crave intimacy as a vital way to reconnect with her partner, to feel emotionally secure amidst the chaos, and to maintain a profound sense of stability and partnership in an otherwise busy and often chaotic life. It's a recentering, a grounding force. Interestingly, the study also revealed a fascinating insight. Many women in this age group report an increase in their sexual motivation. Why? A major factor is often confidence. By this age, many women have a much deeper, more intimate knowledge of their own bodies. They understand what they want, what they like, and crucially, they are far less afraid or hesitant to ask for it openly and confidently. The bottom line? At this stage, intimacy becomes about deeper connection, empowered confidence, relationship stability, and profound personal fulfillment. For guidance on nurturing these deeper connections, visit stoiclove.com. Older women, 46 and beyond. And then we transition into the 46+ stage. For older women, sexual motivation doesn't simply disappear or vanish. Instead, it profoundly transforms. Yes, physical desire may naturally decline somewhat due to hormonal changes, biological shifts, and evolving life circumstances. However, it's a critical point that many older women remain deeply, actively motivated by intimacy, and perhaps even more so by profound companionship. In fact, at this stage, they often prioritize quality over quantity in their intimate experiences. Imagine a woman in her 50s or 60s who has already successfully raised her children, built a fulfilling career, and now seeks depth and genuine connection in her relationship. For her, intimacy is less about constant novelty and more about meaningful connection, profound closeness, comforting familiarity, and genuinely enjoying experiences that feel emotionally rich, intimate, and deeply satisfying, rather than simply frequent or physically intense. One particularly fascinating insight from the research is that many women in this stage report that intimacy becomes a cherished way to celebrate their enduring bond with their partner. It evolves into a deeper, more mature expression of love, companionship, and shared history, rather than being merely a physical act. The bottom line: at this stage, Intimacy is predominantly about emotional depth, unwavering companionship, and meaningful, soulful connection. So, what does this comprehensive understanding all mean for you, specifically? And if you're currently dating, you absolutely need to understand what life stage she's in, because her fundamental motivations for intimacy will look completely, dramatically different at 23 than they do at 43. And if you're already in a long-term relationship, knowing how these intricate motivations evolve over time can provide an invaluable roadmap. It can help you adapt, grow together, and consciously keep intimacy vibrant and alive, instead of passively letting it fade into the background. At this point, you might be genuinely wondering, okay, Amelia, this is all incredibly interesting and insightful, but why does it really matter to me? Why should I genuinely care about what truly motivates women to have sex? Let me tell you, unequivocally. Because understanding this deeply, on a psychological level, could literally transform the way you connect with women, whether you're navigating the complexities of dating or striving to strengthen an already established long-term relationship. And if you haven't yet, join the Stoic Love community by subscribing. Reason 1. It profoundly improves emotional connection. When you truly internalize the realization that women are often motivated by far more than just immediate physical desire, you immediately stop making the common mistake that most men make, passively waiting for her to simply feel in the mood or to initiate. If you know that emotional closeness, a sense of security, and feeling valued are often the powerful underlying triggers for her desire, then you can proactively lean into that understanding. Instead of defensively thinking, she's just not into me anymore, you can compassionately ask yourself, have I genuinely made her feel emotionally safe, truly seen, and deeply valued today in our daily interactions? That profound shift in your internal framework alone can, quite literally, turn a cold, distant relationship into one that is vibrant, alive, and overflowing with renewed connection and passion. Reason 2. It makes communication dramatically easier and more effective. Here's a truth bomb that might surprise you. Couples that openly and honestly talk about sex, ironically, have better sex. And, more often than not, they have more of it. When you internalize the knowledge that motivations shift with age, with external stress, with significant life events, and even with subtle biological changes, it compels you, and ideally your partner, to open up the conversation about intimacy. Instead of silently sitting in growing frustration, resentment, or confusion, you can confidently and vulnerably say, I love being close to you, and I genuinely miss that intimate connection we used to share. Can we talk about how we can reconnect and bring that spark back? Do you understand how incredibly powerful that kind of open, vulnerable communication is? To a woman, that doesn't sound like an accusation or a demand. It sounds like genuine love. It sounds like vulnerability. And it makes her want to lean back into you, to draw closer, instead of instinctively pulling away in defense. Reason 3. It drastically reduces misunderstandings and misinterpretations. Without this crucial psychological knowledge, men often, and quite unfortunately, misinterpret signals from women. You might mistakenly think she's physically rejecting you, when in reality, what she's truly craving is a deeper emotional connection, a listening ear, or simply more understanding. You might jump to the conclusion that she's lost interest in you, when she might just be utterly overwhelmed with work stress, feeling exhausted from life's demands, or her body might be undergoing natural, normal hormonal changes that affect her libido. When you truly understand her complex motivations, you stop taking her responses or lack thereof personally, as a direct reflection on your worth. Instead, you start seeing the much bigger, more intricate picture. That monumental shift alone can literally save relationships from impending collapse, transforming potential conflict into profound empathy and understanding. Reason 4. It strengthens long-term satisfaction and resilience. Early in any relationship, intimacy often feels effortless, almost magical. Passion is sky high, and you might naively think it'll never fade. But then, inevitably, life hits you both. Work stress escalates. Children arrive, demanding time and energy. Bills pile up. Exhaustion becomes a constant companion. And suddenly, that initial effortless spark doesn't feel the same. It seems to dwindle. Here's the hard truth. It's not necessarily that the love is gone. More often, it's that the underlying motivations for intimacy have subtly, yet profoundly shifted. If you're not openly talking about these shifts, not consciously adjusting your approach, not actively nurturing the emotional and relational sides of your connection, then yes, physical intimacy will inevitably fade. But if you lean in with empathy, if you adapt with understanding, if you truly, authentically understand her evolving needs and motivations, you don't just keep intimacy alive. You make it deeper, more meaningful, more profoundly satisfying than it ever was in those initial, intoxicating early days. So, if you want to stop guessing, stop feeling perpetually frustrated, and truly start building relationships where intimacy actually grows stronger, richer, and more profound with time, then you absolutely need to talk about motivations. And you need to understand her motivations just as deeply and thoroughly as you understand your own. So let's bring this powerful discussion home. You've just learned that women are motivated by far more complex and nuanced factors than what initially meets the eye. Physical desire, emotional closeness, relational stability, and sometimes even social or goal-oriented reasons. These are the intricate forces at play. And you've also seen how those motivations are dynamic, shifting with age, with life experiences, and with evolving emotional needs. The truth is this: intimacy isn't random. It isn't just a matter of luck or chance, and it's certainly not just about how physically attractive you are. It's fundamentally about understanding her deeper, often hidden, motivations. What genuinely makes her feel close, safe, desired, and profoundly connected to you. If you truly know this, you stop playing the frustrating guessing game. You stop chasing the wrong signals, investing in superficialities, and you start consciously creating relationships that are passionate, incredibly strong, and built to last for a lifetime. Think about your own relationship right now, in this very moment. Or perhaps reflect on the last significant relationship you were in. Did you ever misread her signals, completely missing the underlying message? Did you ever feel rejected, when in reality, she simply needed more emotional closeness, more understanding, or more reassurance? Did you ever notice that her desires changed with time, but you weren't quite sure why? You are absolutely not alone in these struggles. Most men grapple with these complexities. But now, you have a clear map. You have invaluable knowledge, and knowledge, especially in the realm of intimacy and love, is immense power. If this deeply resonated with you, don't just sit on it. Use it. Start those courageous conversations. Ask her, genuinely, about her needs, her desires, her deepest motivations, and share what motivates you too, opening yourself up to mutual understanding. Because the most unsexy thing couples can do, talking openly and honestly about sex and intimacy, is actually the very thing that keeps passion, connection, and profound love alive for decades. And if you found significant value here, make sure you subscribe to Stoic Love. Every week, I bring you powerful insights that cut through the noise, reveal the hidden truths about human behavior, and give you practical tools to protect your heart, your mind, and your most cherished relationships. So hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below with your thoughts or questions, and please share this video with someone who truly needs to understand the real, nuanced reasons women say yes to intimacy. I'm Amelia, and this has been another deep dive into the psychology of attraction and connection. Until next time, protect your heart, understand the game, and never stop growing stronger and more profoundly connected in your relationships. See you soon.